Chi volunteers and local children help out the local flood survivors at the hot meal distribution. TIMA members from both Singapore and Taiwan traveled to Sri Lanka to serve over 300 local residents. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Lori Chen. Thank you for joining us. In Japan Kansai area, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to provide food for the flood survivors. There were also some children from the nearby neighborhood that came to help out. Despite their young age, they are grateful to have the opportunity to be useful.
In the aftermath of the flood, it has been extremely hot in Kurashiki. Therefore, the volunteers have been thinking of ways to lower the temperature.
It is very hot in the temporary shelters in the tent in which we prepare hot foods. We do not know what to do.
While some people sprinkle water, others have brought some foods from Taiwan that is able to cool down the body.
This is the famous product from Taichung. People in Taichung turn this into soup as it cools down the body. Therefore, I thought about buying this. Besides, it is very cheap to buy it in Taichung.
Since Tzu Chi volunteers started providing food on July 12th, they've paid attention to the fact that Japanese people are used to drinking soup. In addition, they mindfully prepared other dishes. To ensure the affected residents get a balanced diet, the volunteers prepare fresh vegetables for them. Among the volunteers is Shi Yanfen from Osaka, who just underwent eye surgery.
After my sister volunteered here, she told me that needed volunteers badly. I'm feeling fine physically, it's just my eyes that are uncomfortable. I can still do other work.
Some children who live near Nima Elementary School have also come to help out.
It's really hot here and I do feel tired sometimes. However, after seeing the flood survivor situation, I feel that I'm very fortunate that I can volunteer. This is something we should do.
The people here are all very nice and interesting. We can help other people here. It's very good. Thank you.
Although the affected residents face a long road in rebuilding their homes, there is still hope as long as people are willing to work together.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Cambodia held a volunteer sharing event at their new office. Speakers included a Tzu Chi International Disaster Relief volunteer, as well as a Taiwanese couple who owned a joint business.
Tzu Chi Cambodia Liaison Office has been moved to a new office. To increase its popularity, the volunteers organized a lecture with the theme of happy life.
Asian people have a tendency in believing feng shui practices. However, according to Master Zheng Yan, if our thoughts, words, and actions are all positively aligned, then we have nothing to worry about. I really agree with this because when we have an open heart and pure thoughts, every day is peaceful.
After listening to the volunteers sharing sessions, I've learned a lot and became open-minded. In the future, I'll be more tolerant and forgiving of people. I've also learned to keep an open mind and not to be selfish.
In addition to inviting Liu Jiyu, a Tzu Chi volunteer who has much experience in international disaster relief, the volunteers also invited a Taiwanese business couple to share their experiences of Tzu Chi missions.
Life is impermanent, so we should seize the moment to give of ourselves. We also expect that more people in Cambodia can join the volunteers to help people who are suffering.
If we think positively every day, we will have good thoughts, say good words, and do good deeds. This is spiritual cultivation, which can be presented everywhere.
Many people believe that the sharing sessions of Tzu Chi volunteers can help create the ripple effects of great love throughout Cambodia.
In Indonesia, a team of 14 Catholic sisters visited the Jakarta Tzu Chi Jingsi Hall in hopes of learning more about the Tzu Chi humanitarian spirit. During the visit, the Catholic sisters also praised Tzu Chi as an amazing charity organization.
Crossing religious frontiers, Catholic sisters and Tzu Chi volunteers are happy to meet and learn from each other.
Today, the sisters visit our Jingsi Hall to learn about the history of Tzu Chi and our missions.
Back in 2013, sisters from St. Carolus Borromeus had taken the initiative to visit Tzu Chi, hoping to learn more about the foundation because the church is also running school and hospital.
Learning those humanitarian values, we hope we can motivate and inspire more people to join charity works.
Tzu Chi is an amazing charity organization carrying out education and medical missions.
Praising Tzu Chi Foundation's achievements, the Catholic sisters have shown their humbleness.
In the last 2 episodes, we learned that bananas and pineapples are the 2 major fruits in Taiwan. Unfortunately, many production and marketing issues are always repeating itself. However, Yu Zilong, a Pingdong banana farmer, is a great success story. He set up a company with more than 200 banana farmers and successfully balanced the supply and demands of the industry. Now 1/3 of all bananas in Taiwan are exported, all from his company. But this is a minority after all. Therefore, some people have proposed a registration system requiring farmers to let the government know about each of their situations. In the banana fields in Pingdong, operations start at 7:30 a.m., harvesting by hand still non-stop at the end of June.
If it doesn't rain, we could use the small tractor, but when it rains, the tractor will break down, so we have to harvest by hand around 30 kilograms.
今天产地价格良品大概是在12块左右。
1 kilogram can get the price of 12 NT dollars. At that time, for banana farmers in other regions, it was a difficult feat. Yu Zirong is a banana farmer who owns his own banana plantation, but he is also the head of an agricultural company. He cooperates solely with Pingdong farmers. The freshly picked green bananas are immediately sent for the first batch of screening.
We divide them into A and B products. When packaging is finished, the A products are sent directly into pre-cooling.
His company cooperates with more than 200 banana farmers, which can produce 5,000 metric tons of bananas a year. They use the assembly line method to carefully plan the cost, quality, and output of products. This is why their banana price can always maintain at 12 NT dollars despite market price declines.
After I plant the seedling today, it will harvest after 300 days. That means I have 299 days left to do any other things I want. So there are many farmers in the area, but I don't think many are very professional.
His company has a professional team with its own set of production planning and sales channels. When we visited, experts from the Taiwan Banana Research Institute were there because a batch of bananas were ready for export to Dubai.
The net weight of a box of export Taiwanese bananas is usually 12 kilograms. However, here it must be at least 12.5 kilograms because it will lose water weight during transit.
Due to the long transit schedule of more than 20 days, the quality of the banana must be tightly controlled.
Even with the banana market price turmoil this year, Yu Zirong's company was not affected at all, along with the protection of the 200-plus banana farmers under him. For exports, his company has about 400 metric tons per year, which is equivalent to 1/3 of Taiwan's total banana sales. 60% of the domestic sales channels are distributed in stores and supermarkets. He was the first to package single bananas and sold them to markets.
With large corporation, it's all about the quality stability. The range for blemishes can't be too wide, so every time we sell to them, the product quality are carefully inspected.
The success story of Yu Zirong confirms that when small farmers become large farmers, they have more impact and are easier to operate. However, this isn't the majority of cases. Therefore, some experts have suggested that a registration system should be adopted for the overall production management of banana seedlings.
When banana seedlings are planted, farmers should go register with the government. If they are registered, there should be a full subsidy. If not registered, there may be a partial subsidy.
The seedling fields can be said to be the source of the entire banana industry chain. The price of bananas is often unstable, which directly affects the supply of seedlings. Here is the largest private banana seedling cultivation farm in Taiwan. There are a total of 9 different varieties being produced, but due to price fluctuations, the output has been greatly reduced.
I was also born into the farming industry. Of course, we would like all farmers to make more profit, but if the price fluctuations continue on for 3 years straight, it will negatively affect us as well. Since if farmers don't want to plant bananas, then no one would want to buy seedlings from us.
Generally speaking, farmers buy banana seedlings once every 3 years. There are no present regulations, but even if the quantity of seedlings is required to be declared, there's no way to control the whole market. At the present, both the Taiwan Banana Research Institute and private seedling markets are providing tissue culture seedlings. However, on many banana plantations, there are actually self-growing buds. If you don't need to buy banana seedlings, it's quite difficult to calculate the total numbers unless you report it yourself.
After all, Taiwan is a free market country. We do not control what the farmers choose to plant in their fields, so it is not mandatory for the farmers to register what they are planting.
The Council of Agriculture and their research institute is still improving. In fact, they have experts and professors going to help. However, in terms of policy, we're not in line with their international standards yet. This is one of the key problems we are encountering right now.
Both bananas and pineapples in Taiwan are facing similar issues when it comes to keeping a balance between production and sales. This is fundamental to agricultural development. Right now, the government is trying to implement a registration system that will formulate and control the industry, but it's quite tricky in a free market. In Sri Lanka, Tzu Chi hosted the 4th large-scale free clinic in the Kalutara district. TIMA members from both Singapore and Taiwan went to support the local community hospital because they only have 3 doctors on site, serving an average of over 300 local patients.
I didn't see you last night. I called you, you never answered me.
As soon as they arrived at the venue, Tzu Chi volunteers were greeted passionately by medical personnel and local volunteers. Tzu Chi is hosting the 4th large-scale free clinic in the Baduraliya Division Hospital in Kalutara district. Volunteers have made sure all of the equipment, electricity, and water supplies are ready in advance.
The hospital has sufficient electricity and water supplies, hence we can share some of them.
This time, the venue is better than the last 3 free clinics. However, volunteers still need to move equipment in the rain and clean the space beforehand. Ramesh, who is volunteering for the first time, had undergone business failure recently, and he thought he had nothing left.
Really poor, no? So they don't have the money and everything to do all these things. And you all have made this place really nice, and all the equipments and everything, and all the people are working hard.
Most of the residents are farmers that lived an impoverished life. There were only 3 doctors to provide free medical treatments in the community hospital. Tzu Chi is the first charity organization to host free clinics in this remote mountainous area.
We'll assist with the preparation of the free clinic, all that we can, because this will benefit the community members greatly.
Volunteers drove the car to broadcast about the free clinic on the streets, as well as promoting the venue in the slum area, hoping that the 3-day free clinic can truly help patients in need.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia held a free clinic for Rohingya refugees from Myanmar. A total of 251 medical professionals from TIMA, the local public hospitals, and private clinics served over 300 refugees within 6 hours. What a feat!
This community-free clinic is held for Rohingyas from Myanmar.
The nurse here gave me a complete health checkup. It's great because there were many people coming here to help. They also provided all the medications that we needed. I'm very thankful.
After witnessing their sufferings, we really want to do something to help them. Every time we visited them, they said they have been unemployed for a few months. Since their children were very thin, I thought we should provide medical assistance and aid supplies for them as soon as possible as we could.
More than 300 people visited the 8 different departments within 6 hours.
I served a patient who had colorectal cancer. He didn't have any extra money, so he didn't go to the public hospital for a follow-up checkup. He even gave up treating his illness. When he came to seek medical attention here, his health was already in critical conditions. We can help these individuals by reporting them to the UNHCR, which can help solve their financial problems.
Everyone left the free clinic with smiles. When I treated their health problems, I would press the places where they felt pain. After the treatment, they all smiled and felt much better.
On this trip, the medical team also went to the homes of patients who had mobility issues to carefully treat their wounds. The volunteers hope by giving of themselves, they can help the refugees who live in a foreign country to reduce their worries and hardships.
In March of this year, Hong Kong Tzu Chi volunteer Zheng Huifang attended the training camp on environmental protection in Taiwan. She felt the urgent need to save planet Earth, so she used her vacation time in Fujian to promote environmental protection.
The atmosphere of this village is extraordinarily lively on this night. After the villagers finished their farm work, they went to the home of Tzu Chi volunteer Zheng Huifang to learn about environmental protection.
Instead of using tap water to water the potted plants, we can use the leftover washing water from rice or vegetables. How can we make good use of the water that we use to mop the floor? We can use it to flush the toilet with.
Adopting a vegetarian diet is good for my health, which also helps get rid of my worries. We should also stop burning joss paper. It's simple and environmentally friendly.
Volunteers use the Taiwanese language to bring the villagers closer together, teaching them that they can practice environmental protection anywhere in their lives.
I'll teach children how to save water resources so that they will not waste too much money.
In the shop where I worked, we offered plastic bags to every customer. Sometimes a customer would take a lot of bags. Now I realize it was actually unnecessary to do that.
It actually has a good effect. With this positive feedback, there's definitely an opportunity for change. I feel very happy about this.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Zhangzhou work together to prepare for a sharing session event. Zheng Huifang hopes to set up a recycling points in the village in the near future.
Our trip on Clothes Journey, we have taken you to Kenya, Bangladesh, China, and Hong Kong. Looking back, if we can extend the life cycle of a piece of clothing, what would be the simplest solution? Taiwan's Furen Catholic University's Department of Textiles and Clothing is now offering a sustainable fashion curriculum to educate designers to be environmentally cautious.
Every season we have different kinds of clothes. There are 400 kinds of fabrics, which, if you multiply by 20 different colors, it's really frightening.
Here is the warehouse of the textile company. Every bolt of cloth in front of us is a sample that is no longer in production. There are at least 40 containers here, and this is only for one season. In general, textiles that are overproduction or samples or are scraps after cutting, which are not deemed garbage, will be sold off for a lower price to other countries to help the company minimize their losses. Today, this textile company invited university professors to this warehouse to think of ways to solve this problem.
When we do volume production, we can't simply produce exactly what they ordered, as we do a little more. So maybe we produce an extra 10,000 yards, and if this is done around the world, it will be 100,000 or 1 million yards, as this 1% is really scary.
In addition, the garment production process will inevitably result in damaged goods, and some machines have a minimum production volume, with the difference between the customer's order and the actual order being the main reason for this leftover quantity. This company is cooperating with Furen Catholic University to provide leftover fabrics to fashion design students.
I'll give each student 2 or 3 yards of material and let them do a design. This type of task gives them the opportunity to break through the limitations to achieve a new design.
我看到这块的时候，真是快要昏倒的喜欢。大概就是那个头套的一个方式，然后你看，它会有 testing。你的材料就是这样。
The headscarf that the teacher showed was a sample which was meant to be discarded, but after some innovative design, it has become a new piece of clothing.
This was originally a headscarf that was going to be thrown away because of some flaws in the printing process. Later, we made it into this yoga suit that I am wearing.
This course in sustainable fashion is a first in the half-century that Furen Catholic University Department of Textiles and Clothing has been established. It seeks to use leftover material from textile companies to make new designs and allow the academic world to influence fashion and the environment.
The generally established impression is that little care is given to the environment, but through some design changes, I think that we can change this image.
There's data that shows designers can control some 80% of environmental costs. This shows that power is in the hands of the designer.
In addition to encouraging designers to act, it is also quite important to educate consumers around the world.
I frequently buy clothing, maybe whenever I see something that I like. This could possibly be once a day.
The most that I bought was about 12 items of clothing, or about USD $450 in a single day.
Yes, I bought secondhand clothes, but I didn't really like it because it felt a little dirty, and I didn't know who wore it before me.
According to WRAP, the average life expectancy of a piece of clothing is 2.2 years. But as long as each person extends the life of the clothes for another 3 months, it can reduce the Earth's carbon dioxide and sewage by 5 to 10%. In other words, we can reduce the burden on the Earth by buying one less piece of clothing.
This is an environmental issue, a social issue, and an industry issue. But in the end, it's all dependent upon consumer behavior.
I think that the most important thing is the power consumers wield. This is why we always mention education. From a young age in all stages of life, we should all achieve consensus on this issue.
The journey of a piece of clothing goes from production to consumption. If we continue to make a large volume of clothes every day without any restraint, we will ultimately create a huge problem in terms of the amount of garbage that needs to be dealt with.
Aided by the explosion of fast fashion, the global textile industry has continued to expand, leading to more sweatshops in Bangladesh, which are enabling cheap fashion. This is primarily marketed towards impulse buying. This leads more clothes to be discarded and eventually dumped in Africa, where some items still can't be sold and are ultimately landfill and other garbage. While scientists and enterprise have begun to try to propose solutions, the most simple answer is that supply and demand are out of balance, as consumers need to make more rational decisions, and manufacturers should bear more costs to make this industry more sustainable and in balance with the Earth.
The 9th Relay for Life event took place in Southern California. Many charity organizations, including Tzu Chi, came out to support the cause in fighting for a cure for cancer. Thank you for joining us, and may we find a cure for cancer soon. See you next time.